Hey everyone, it's me again, and I have no face makeup on, and you guys know what that means. It's time for another wear test. Today, well, I was kind of mixed up because I have two foundations that I've bought in the last, couple of months or so because I have no self-control, and I was racking my Libra indecisive brain over which one to test first. So I asked Facebook and Instagram. And you know you're getting spam comments on Instagram when you ask people a question that requires a specific answer, because a lot of them will just comment like heart emojis or something completely unrelated, and that's when you know you're dealing with spam. And chose the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Water Foundation. This is really, really hyped on YouTube, or at least it was during the summer. A lot of people were really into it. So I picked up the shade Light Sand because Tarte seems to have some trouble creating very, very pale shades that are also yellow in undertone. This was the first lightest yellowy undertone shade, and it probably will be too dark for me, but we'll jump that train when we get to it. There's always ways to lighten darker foundation. So let me just look up the claims here. The Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Water Foundation retails for $39, so not terribly expensive as high-end foundations go, but it's, it's up there. And it looks like they have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 shades in this particular range, mostly in the light to medium spectrum. Not a whole lot for the extremely pale, not a whole lot for the extremely deep. So if you are one of my beautiful chocolate queens who watch my channel, you might be shit out of luck with this one. But I got the shade Light Sand. It says, a lightweight, full coverage, hydrating foundation infused with Tarte's Rainforest of the Sea complex and non-chemical SPF 15 sunscreen. So it's got sunscreen in it. That's pretty neat. No major claims to be made there. We've got a frosted glass bottle with a nice little pump attachment on the top here. It screws up to reveal a dropper. Now, one of the first foundations that I used that I would call a holy grail foundation for myself was, what was it called? The Lancome Nude Miracle Foundation. And that had a dropper as well. So luckily I'm pretty used to applying this. And I'm already primed. I used the Laura Geller Spackle Primer, and now I'm going to dip my Real Techniques Expert face brush into this. It's quite liquidy, you can see there. And then I'm just going to start kind of stippling this all over my face. Rude phone! This is a little bit dark, which is always, wonderful to not have a foundation that matches correctly. But at the same time, I looked at the shade range, and the shade above this one, the shade lighter than this one, looked way, way, way too light and too pink. And it's a lot easier to correct a foundation when it's the right undertone. But just, either too light or too dark. Probably looks fine on camera, but it is a smidgen dark. So far, we're doing pretty good. It's blending pretty easily. Claims to be full coverage, but I don't really have a whole lot to cover on this particular side of my face. So we're gonna have to just wait and see on that claim. This was just one pump, and it looks like one pump is going to cover 1/2 of my face pretty easily, which is nice. Really sort of natural finish. If it sets down, that would be fantastic, because then it actually looks quite a lot like skin. A little bit going a pretty long way here. There's most of 1/2 of my face. That's what one pump did right there. So it looks like this is going to be a 1.5 to 2 pump style application. This packaging I'm a little iffy about. I could see this breaking really easily, like the pump action on the dropper here. I could see that breaking pretty quickly. Let's go ahead and test it on some redness. Alright. Okay. Yeah, we're covering up a little bit. I don't know if I'd call this full coverage. I'd call it a high medium, but it's getting the job done. Nice. Quite dewy again, but that might change in the next couple of minutes here. Yeah, I'm still seeing a lot of like greasiness here, which I'm not thrilled about. And I think I'm seeing some oxidization, which is great with a foundation that's too dark. Of course, you want your foundation to get even darker, right? Okay, so first impressions right off the bat, I'm getting a little bit of like that itchy sort of burning sensation that happens to me sometimes right around here. That tells me that this foundation is irritating my skin a little bit. That's not a deal breaker for me because I've got pretty sensitive skin to begin with, so a lot of the time my skin will feel irritated regardless of what I do, but the foundation did blend in pretty quickly. I'm emphasizing a little bit of texture right through here, but I think that has to do with the finish being as dewy as it is, and it is not setting down. It's transferring quite a bit right now. So I think I am going to set this, and I'm going to add a little bit of under eye concealer. I'm going to use this Shape Tape stuff from Tarte, and I'm going to use this to try and lighten this foundation a little bit because it's dark. And this is one of the ways that you can lighten your foundation is by using a lighter concealer to highlight a la Kim Kardashian, which, you know, normally I don't really do, but if I'm dealing with a foundation that is significantly darker than I want it to be, it's a way to sort of lighten the appearance of the foundation in certain spots. Okay, so concealer blended on top of this fairly well. It's not really looking too patchy or anything like that. Again, I'm still getting that kind of burning, itching feeling. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe my skin is just being particularly sensitive because it's been roughly like a million years since I've done any makeup on my face at all. So I'm trying to give this the benefit of the doubt just because my skin is temperamental at the best of times. And when I haven't worn makeup in a while and I put a full face on, my skin does not like that sometimes. But I am going to set the rest of my face with a translucent powder. This isn't to give the foundation any kind of advantage over any other foundation, it's just what I would do normally. So I'm going to take this big old Royal and Langnickel brush. This is from their Moda collection from Walmart, and I love it. It's so soft. But I'm going to take a little bit of RCMA No Color powder, and I'm just going to slightly sweep that over the whole show. Sort of skipping the concealer part as much as I can because I don't really feel the need to set the Tarte Shape Tape. I'm just lightly setting the rest of my face. Although the sides of my nose are still feeling quite dewy. Probably because I'm sweating like a whore in church right now. It's quite warm in my house and I don't know why. We have set the foundation and there's what it looks like with concealer and everything else. It's still feeling quite a bit tacky and I don't know why that is, but you guys just watched me set it. The concealer has helped sort of blend that foundation shade into my face a little bit more, so that's kind of nice. You can still see a little teeny tiny bit of my acne and scarring. Although it's mostly texture, the redness has pretty much completely been eliminated, which is nice. There's a little bit of darkness back over here. You can see where my acne and scarring is. You can see a little bit of darkness there, but it's not too bad. So I would put this at a high, medium, maybe low full coverage. I think this feels like the kind of foundation where you could put on a sheer layer if you wanted to and have sort of a light to medium coverage, or you could build it into a full coverage, which is really cool. So far, my only real complaint is that the finish was quite tacky and quite wet and sticky. Now, I didn't really give it that much time to set, but your girl is always running behind, so I don't have any time at all to wait for a foundation to set. But we've got a nice little natural glow going on here, which could be nice depending on the kind of finish you're looking for. I like to add my own glow a lot of the time, but we shall see. So I'm going to put on the rest of my face makeup here really quickly. Just going to be doing some basic bitch stuff. I played with the Lorac Mega Pro 3 palette today. I didn't film this look just because I am so unbelievably rusty. Like, believe me guys, when I say that I haven't put any makeup on my face in like 4 weeks, I haven't put any makeup on my face in like 4 weeks. So I just wanted to kind of get back into the swing of things, allow myself some time to, you know, go through the motions again. But if you want me to film a tutorial with the Mega Pro 3 palette, let me know. I also got the Metal Matte palette. So yeah, I'm gonna go put on the rest of my face makeup and I will be back to show you guys the finished product. Okay guys, so this is what you get. Went pretty basic with my face today. I contoured just a teeny weeny bit with my Lunatic Cosmetic Labs contour palette, which I can't find. There it is. Motorcycle. For bronzer today, I decided to try a little something new and went with the good, well, it's new to me, it's not new, but it's the Lorac Tantalizer Baked Bronzer in the shade Matte Tan. I love this. I love this. I recommended it to my sister because she was looking for a bronzer that wasn't too pink or didn't look muddy on her, and this does not look muddy on anybody that I've experienced. And I realized I didn't have it myself anymore, so I bought a new one, and it's so soft. It's one of the softest, most beautifully textured bronzers I've ever felt. I adore it. The packaging's a little on the bulky side, but I can forgive it for this because, I mean, it's beautiful. Especially if you have fair skin. This isn't going to make you look orange. It's that perfect kind of level of pigmentation that makes it really easy to work with. For blush, I tried something that is new and new to me. The Smashbox new blush palette. I used the shade True Flesh in the center down on the bottom there for my blush today. Pretty cute, digging it. I love the big mirror on this palette. Really enjoying the convenience of that right through here. And for that glow, I'm using, of course, Laura Geller Gilded Honey. I've been really fascinated by this since I got it. Yeah, that's basically it for the makeup. Lips are Jeffree Star Abused. I wanted to play around with, you know, contrasting colors or colors that are not monochromatic, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Let's take a look at the foundation. Looking in the mirror here, we are looking a little greasy in the spaces that I normally get oily. Now, that's probably not oil, honestly. It's probably sweat, because I just checked my thermostat and it was 77 degrees in my house. So no wonder I am sweaty as anything, because holy crap, it's steaming hot in my house, and that might affect the performance of this particular makeup. But that's something to make note of. You know, if a makeup can't stand up to hot climates, then, you know, how do you expect it to stand up to stage or anything like that? It's got a very makeup-y appearance to it. Like, now that I've got everything on, it looks like makeup. It does not look like skin. Now, that doesn't bother me that much because my makeup looks like makeup regardless of what I do usually. But it's something to make note of if you look for a more natural finish in your complexion normally. This may not be the product for you because, or at least with the combination of products I've used with it, it appears to be very makeup-y. It emphasizes my texture a teeny tiny bit, but my pores still look okay. So like, my skin looks a little bit textured. It looks like it might be clinging to the baby hairs on my face a little bit, but my pores look pretty normal. They don't look particularly small, but they don't look particularly big either. It's somewhere in between. I finished applying the foundation at around 4, and it's 5:09 p.m. now. I know I'm getting a really late start on this, but 1 hour in, not a whole lot has changed. So far, I'm lukewarm on it, honestly. And I think, you know, part of it has to do with the fact that this is too dark for me, but at the same time, the next shade up would be too light and too pink. So it's like I can't really win shade-wise, but the finish never really dried down. It was very, very dewy, and I'm not a huge fan of that in my foundations. I don't mind a little bit of glow, but I don't like greasy feeling foundations because I do get oily in some spots. But it's 5 o'clock now. I'm gonna go about my day, and I'm gonna check in with you guys throughout the day to let you know how all this holds up. Hi guys, checking in for the first check-in on this foundation. It's just after 9 in the evening, so I've had it on for a few hours. And while I did have to do a soft bake on the sides of my nose because it was already getting super like sweaty, greasy city, things have been good since then. I have walked around, we went and got pizza, so I ate pizza, that's why my lipstick is a little bit fucked right now. But yeah, the foundation is not doing too terrible all in all. I'm feeling a lot better about it than I was when I first put it on, and I think it really just needed to get baked in the more oily areas. But that might not even be the foundation's fault because the house was really hot this afternoon, so it could have just been that. But it's something to keep in mind anyway. And yeah, so far so good. We'll do a little show in the light here. You can see after I baked kind of the side areas of my nose here, the oiliness got diminished pretty much completely. Bronzer, blush, and highlight are all still there. Let's take a look at the texture situation. Not too shabby. Pores are a little bit worse than they were. More notably on this side. The pores are like, hey, what's up? We're here. But they're not like gargantuanly huge, you know? And we're not going to talk about my lipstick. It's like so beyond fucked right now. And the itchiness has gone away.
How can you say fuck on camera, but you can't show your ass?
But anyway, I will check in with you guys again in a few hours so we can see how this is going.
Just decoration.
In the meantime, enjoy my sister and my husband playing Minecraft. What? Say hi, guys.
Don't make me take my ass out again.
Look, I'm naked. look at one ass that actually can be put on the game. Look at my ass.
Yeah. Hey everyone, it's me back again for the final check-in of the night. It is currently just after 1 in the morning, so I put this on at about 4 p.m. So I've had it on for about 9 hours now, and you know, I would say that's, you know, it's not my normal wear time for foundations by any stretch, but it is enough to determine the performance level of this foundation. So far, I'm on the fence, and I know that's not going to be a very satisfying answer. You know, people are going to be like, God, Helen, just make a decision. But this is the first time I'm ever trying this, and it's going to take a lot more wear tests with a lot more different products for me to determine and like form an opinion on it. The things I like, let's start out with that. It has maintained its integrity fairly well. In that it still looks pretty good. The finish, it still looks perfectly nice. When set with a powder, finish is pretty nice. You know, I sort of like it from that perspective. It's not lightweight, but it's not heavyweight either, and it doesn't appear to, you know, exacerbate my pores as much as some foundations I've tried. My blush, contour, and highlight are still somewhat intact. And things seem to have held up pretty well, at least in the first 9 hours. The shade was a little dark, but it seems pretty forgiving in that it doesn't really look like terribly bad right now. Like, it looks like this could be my shade in the summer, so that's, you know, not a huge downside. And it looks, you know, like the finish is nice, the coverage is decent, given that it's a liquid foundation. Initially, I was not expecting this level of coverage, but it's not too bad. Now that being said, there are some cons to this. It did have that sort of slight burning, irritated sensation when I first put it on, which leads me to believe there's some alcohol in here, which would be unfortunate for people on Retin-A or people with otherwise sensitive skin. It has SPF, which is nice, but it claims to be like super natural and like super good for sensitive skin, and not all foundations who make that claim actually are. So I'm gonna have to really do some digging into the ingredients and determine what the deal is with that. Another downside is that this does feel and look like makeup. Now, again, for me, this is not that much of a downside because looking like makeup doesn't really bother me all that much. When I'm wearing makeup, I'm used to my makeup looking like makeup. It just happens. But if you're someone who's more into a really natural finish and a natural lightweight feel, you're not gonna get that as much with this. Now, it is certainly not the heaviest weight foundation I've ever tried, but it's not weightless either. You can definitely feel it on the skin. And after a while, you can see some of my lines starting to show, even after being baked in with powder. Which brings me to the next con. This stuff is dewy as fuck, at least from my experience. Now, I didn't give it a whole terrible lot of time to set before I just went in straight with powder, and it was really hot in the house at the time that I applied it, so that could have been playing a factor, but for some reason it felt just downright greasy to me when I first put it on. It was just shiny all over the place, and it seemed like it wasn't completely setting down. And even now, if I, lay a finger on an area that I didn't really powder too terribly heavily, it does transfer off of my hand, so it doesn't completely set, and it still feels tacky, like it feels sticky on my skin. So this kind of thing does not completely set, which for, someone like me who's a working makeup artist, who's a burlesque performer, I need products that are going to last a long time. And while this did last a decent amount for something that doesn't set down, I would have to go to a lot of lengths to make sure it does last as long as it could. That's about all I have for now. I know this isn't a terribly comprehensive review, but believe you me, I will be checking in with this foundation again after I've used it a few more times to see how it affects my sensitive skin and to see how it wears in different scenarios, to see whether I really truly like it or not. But I hope you guys have found this video helpful, informative, or entertaining. If you did, there's a button for that. Spank that like button in the butt. You know it deserves it. And if you want to see more from me, subscribe and become a member of the faithful today. I put out new videos every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining me today, and I will see you in the next video. Toodles!